you're not always happy to get surprises, but in this case, it definitely worked out. Kujima Utaiba de Hororo. So Kujima warbles and whatever the titles, But the titular character was one of those unexpected hits for me. A show that I quickly fell in love with, that I thought was going to be purely, comedic relief and slapstick, but turned into something more serious and really a slice of life, a depiction of what life should be, about appreciating something while we have it, and how unexpected twists can turn into lifelong bonds. Um, because the character, as shocking as he was, um, he quickly ingratiated himself into your life, into the family's lives, and became inseparable. Um, it was almost like he was always there, like he had never missed a beat. Just naturally became a part of their family. And the misadventures and him understanding Japanese and someone that's out of place, something that's out of place, I should say, because what the hell is Kujima? You find out he's a bird, but he's like what, almost 2 meters tall. Very shocking in appearance, very out of place because he can talk, communicate, and you're like kind of trying to quantify what the hell is it. But that turned into some of the comedic relief and kind of running gag. Don't let him get exposed by the neighbors and the other people in the neighborhood. And the authorities, they if they find out, notify people, he's gonna be in a lab somewhere getting chopped up. But the each member of the family being different, and the one that him calling him forming the closest bond with being the younger brother, and him embracing Kujima the most, but also him teaching him things, and we found out Kujima is only like 2 years old or 3 years old, something like that. So it's crazy. He has all this development physically, and it's so different from any bird of his species. But yeah, Arata is his name. Teaching him about things, Kujima teaching him about things, and then him breaking out into speaking Russian with people, like it's so funny. And the cousin, she finds out she speaks Russian. She teases him. Man. But all of the development for the characters that happens throughout. We had one of those scare earlier where we thought Kujima's gonna go home because he gets homesick, but he comes back, and Arata, speaking of an American accent, Arata is very relieved to have him be back, but that's just a premonition because it won't be long because he's obviously a migratory bird. He came here. He's going to set out on another adventure, and it's gonna have to be cyclical. And in episode 11, we're building up to that, with him shedding feathers, him trying to clean them up before Arata notices, and that's near impossible because just it's constant and it's without any notice, and you have to confront we've come to acknowledge the unbearable truth that we're not always going to be with Kujima, and he has to move on. And Arata coming to grips with that. The family as well, of course, the mom and dad, they're adults, so they're more ready to do that. The big brother, as annoying as Kujima is to him, and he is to Kujima, he loves him in his own way, special way. Being more mature, he's Ronin, a person who failed the college exams and is going to attempt to take them again. Find out he does take them and passes, and he comes to his own realization thanks to also Kujima. So he's been a net positive for this family in so many different ways. Pushed him. He was annoying the hell out of big brother Suguru earlier. Trying to get him to be more social, to be more active in participating in family gatherings and such. He successfully does so, even though he does it in his own way. But how much of a boon that's his presence has been for everybody involved, neighbors as well. Arata doesn't even know his love interest. Has helped create that segue in. But Arata is pouting and he's acting out because he doesn't want Kujima to go. And I don't want Kujima to go. I don't want this anime to end and then end up giving you that feeling. It's just such a special anime, one that grew on me and really moved up my list for the season, which was just, um, doused, with hidden gems here and there, as well as the heavy hitters. Top two, baseball and then Magic Wand. But man, how I'm so happy that I took a chance flyer on this one because I had no idea what it was, but stuck with it. I was hooked by the first episode, but just gave it a chance. And blessed by this opportunity, to witness, watch, experience this anime. But it's just so many funny moments throughout. I laughed my ass off watching this show because it's just hilarious. He just something that shouldn't be out of place, and making jokes and it's everyday life and things he runs into. A Russian ingratiating himself into incorporating himself into Japanese society, discovering little things and the things he loves, and he loves eating rice, and discover soba and different things like that, and different cultural points. And he's trying to speak Japanese, and it's, through idioms, it's hard, to speak Japanese myself. And it's just not second nature. You have to really apply yourself to it. And man, but him making mistakes and Suguru getting frustrated trying to teach him along the way. All of that, it's just life, and it just makes you appreciate life, people you have in your life that you love on and that love you. And going through stages. If you have kids, you see them from the time they're young, they're gonna grow up and mature and eventually leave the nest, pun intended. And this guy does as well, assuming that he's gonna be coming back into some kind of rotational role. Damn, I shut the F up. I'm making a video here, bro. Gosh, it's annoying. But, I love that, they show you that, it's kind of a microcosm of, how things should go. And I wonder how, Arata's gonna, develop and go along. But, we get to see, them taking photos and pictures, obviously, to watch the same word. And they have to, sit in certain positions or places certain positions that suit the overall, aura of the photo. And they're kind of uncomfortable because they don't know what the hell this person is doing in the bodysuit. And obviously, we know that he's not in the bodysuit. He's a full-grown creature that has human adjacent intelligence. So Suguru is all being all like stiff and shit. So he's like, loosen up, and he's like, oh, he doesn't know how to smile unless something interesting happens. Do something interesting. They're like, what? Being called out, or like requested to do something, and then he smacks that shit out of Kujima. He get back, at him, and he gets pissed off. He's like, man, why the hell you hit me? It hurts. And he's like, it loosens everybody up, loosens him up, and he's like, I can smile, I'm fine. But just how they look so much like a family unit, despite this them meeting this bird, 6 months ago, or not even maybe 6 months ago, and he's already, like I said, ingratiating himself into their lives and becoming an inseparable part of the family. And us knowing that he has to leave at some point, it just pains your heart even more. Like the intro, the outro, like the outro is like it's really mysterious, almost like Fushigi, which is mysterious in Japanese. Like, and the intro is just so like bursting with energy, like virility and youthfulness, so hopeful. But it kind of burns even more when you reflect upon that. This in the next episode is gonna be the last time seeing these characters, and Kujima's gonna leave. But it just makes you really appreciate every moment you have watching this anime. I'm like, I was genuinely sad, knowing that it's coming to a close, but as well as that, the journeys, are coming to a close. And, just appreciate it, but like that, that funny moment, and then afterwards they reflect, they say, oh man, that person just didn't want to. The wife of the photographer was saying, the person just didn't want to get out of the suit, and the husband comes, the relationship dawns on him. He's like, no, It's not that they didn't want to come out of the suit. Think about it, honey. We saw him eating without taking off the suit, taking bites and shit. And like, that wasn't a person in the suit. And she's like, and she realizes, yeah, what she actually saw, the cognitive dissonance that she was experiencing, that she was forcing upon her brain. Like, yeah, oh shit, and what the hell was that? And you're like cracking up because you know that, they're in danger, of not, of being on the precipice of discovering, but they just let it go because, don't want to mess up the money, and then, just ain't our business. It's so Japan. Hey, let's just keep a healthy distance between you and us, and, people mind their own business. They will leave it alone in Japan. And they're going home, and, it's like 3 siblings in the back, even though, Kujima's not one of them. He's bothering some people about, I want to look at the window. And he's being restless. He's like, they pass a drive-thru. He's like, I want, to go to the drive-thru and eat this food. And he's begging the mom and dad, to do so. And it's like, so he was just, I want to go home or whatever. Just, peeves, but, can't live with them, can't live without them type relationship bond they have. Just so beautifully encapsulates this episode. But yeah, just, I did watch this whole episode. I'm just stopping at the 11th because I won't stop there. But it was a good ass anime. One of the hidden gems, like I said, of the season to end. I'm so happy I discovered it. But I know the fact of the matter is that you're not here because you didn't watch it all the way through. But it's all good. Like, I love talking about these freaking shows. And some interesting content next up. But I'm gonna try to do this. But thank you for being here. Or not. Anyways. Peace.
Like, comment, share, and subscribe if you
Thanks for watching. Check me out at Centron Anime, Centron Life, or Centron Laughs, or other social media.